What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's get into it, shall we? I say we shall. Now, let's get into this. The 1985 NBA All-Star Game. The big conspiracy. This is the truth behind the 1985 Freeze-Out Game. The 1985 All-Star Game was one of the most lamest All-Star games probably in the history of basketball. Nothing really memorable about it at all. Ralph Sampson was MVP. Nobody really gave a damn about the game. Everybody was tuned in, though, because they just saw one of the greatest slam dunk contests they've seen in a long time. And Michael Jordan had just exploded in the first half of the NBA season. But what they didn't tell you, there were a lot of other people there too that was doing well. Like Bernard King. Bernard King was busting people up, man. But that's beside the point. Let's stick to where we are. Michael Jordan comes in, mink coat, got the gold chain jewelry on, doing interviews with the press. And the outset and the onlook of it is that Michael Jordan is showing up the older players that's out there, the veterans, the Magics, the guys that's been here, Dr. J, Kareem's. You're showing them up out here on the court. Larry, Bird, and Magic. This their show. And who is this punk? You know who started all this, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to get to all of it. But you know me. You know what I like to do, right? I like to take it all the way back to the beginning. Because now you get the full understanding. And for that idiot who said, well, the video take too long, then speed it up, you damn dummy. Now, for everybody else, here we go. When Isiah Lloyd Thomas III got drafted, about 10-15 minutes after he was drafted, and he has been selected by the Detroit Pistons, a Chicago writer, sports writer named Jay Mariotti, asked Isiah Thomas, what do you want to do? What are your goals? What is it? He says, I want to win championship. And he said, for Detroit, the Detroit Pistons? He said, yeah. Jay Mariotti laughed at him. And he said, why is that possible? He said, oh, Detroit, they don't win championships. They make cars. And he said, well, things can and always change. So now that they got me, I believe we're going to work on winning an NBA championship. That's our goals. So Mariotti felt like, how dare this young, snobbish kid from the streets of Chicago talk to me this way. So he thought Isiah Thomas would just have a very good career, but phase out in the NBA. But ever since then, he's had it out for Isiah. There have been all of these articles that come out, and in those articles, it was always something condescending about Isiah. You know, he's a Chicago sports writer. because they were always seeming to having success over the Chicago Bulls, who were far beyond anything. Like, they were beyond terrible. They needed Isaiah. So the fact that Isaiah did not fall to the spot where the Bulls could get him, you know, this just made them resent him even more. But they used to cheer him when he come home, because nobody was showing up to watch the Bulls. As you probably saw from the documentary, the Chicago Sting, who people didn't even know existed until that documentary, unless you was my age, knew about the Chicago Sting. They were doing better numbers than the Bulls. That's how terrible it was. Now, here we go. Speed it up to 84. Isaiah's been in the league, what, 3 years? This is third season in the NBA. This is Michael Jordan's first year in the NBA. Isaiah Thomas is still a young player in the league. So the press are writing about this game. They're thriving now. If you're a Chicago sports writer, you're thriving over the fact that you have something to write about. This is the biggest excitement in Chicago basketball ever had with Michael Jordan. Ever. So now you got Michael Jordan in this playoff. In this game with this All-Stars. He just had the slam dunk contest. He ended up losing to Dominique in the finals. And now the All-Star game's coming around. And you're like, oh, this is going to be something epic. Then you see it, and Michael Jordan kind of like lays back. He's not as, progressive as you thought. So the media created a freeze out. There were conversations. Michael Jordan was froze out by Isaiah Thomas and the Eastern veterans who were offended that he came in with gold chains on and a fur jacket like he was upstaging the veterans. They were perturbed. Nobody cared what Michael Jordan wore, who was an NBA player. Let me tell you that right now. Nobody cared except for the writers. The sports writers cared. They said Michael Jordan looks like a pimp, comes in wearing fur coats and diamonds, gold necklaces around his neck. He actually went in a dunk contest with a gold necklace. That's tacky. Sports writers cared. Players didn't give a damn. They didn't care what Michael Jordan had on his neck. He didn't play that basketball game like that. He won in the dunk contest. But if you listen to the way they wrote it, oh, that definitely happened. There was a meeting with Isaiah and Magic, and they were in the hotel rooms, and Dr. J. Are you believing, for an absolute fact, Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas had the same sports agent? Okay, and that sports agent, who's now a lawyer, was telling the whole world basically like, you guys are nuts. Because the only two people that would have had a conversation out of this group was Magic and Isaiah. That's probably the only thing of a conversation you would have got. Dr. J is not that type of person who's going to plot against Michael Jordan. For what? He's Dr. J. He's the ambassador of the sport. Everybody's under Doc. Him and Kareem. So they're not plotting against no damn Jordan. That is the stupidest thing. Moses Malone, Larry Bird is going to listen to Isaiah saying we need to freeze out Michael Jordan, and he's going to go along with it. People, when you hear it played back and said in this context, you realize how stupid that the actual thought is. Michael Jordan even says it in his retirement speech that I was just happy to be there with those guys. I didn't want to upstage anybody. I just wanted to fit in. So he held himself back. So he just basically kept that to himself all these years. But he gave you your answer then. So there was no freeze out game. But if you're a sports writer, you're not going to retract something because somebody tells you something, right? You're going to just say, oh, I know I'm right. I'm going to keep writing it because it's still going to be a story. Even though they told you numerous of times it never happened, yet and still, people still run with it and believe the lie because the lie has become a legend. The lie of something that never happened. Michael Jordan had 9 points in the All-Star game, and he wasn't taking that many shots. That's just what it was. He wasn't trying to go out and embarrass the players like he wanted to. But they put Isaiah as the head leader of all of it, and the fact that after that Michael scored 45 on Detroit, he scored 40 on a lot of people. Why in the world would that be any different? Michael scored 40 on a lot of people. Why was it a message when he did it on Isaiah? Michael was lighting the league up. You know, so before people really game plan against him, they had to try to match his energy. But it is what it is. So when we go down and break down the numbers, right? And we break down what actually happened. People seem to not understand something did happen. But those sports writers, they missed it. Oh, did they miss it? You see, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson at this time, in '84, they hated each other. They were not friends. They had not become buddy-buddy and met up and become friends. They couldn't stand each other. They still had the beef going from college. He wanted to beat Magic, and that was it. So they had that going on, that confrontation. So Magic and Isaiah, they had the tight bond, and so did George Gervin. George Gervin is from Detroit, Michigan, the Iceman, one of the most prolific scorers in the game. They try to say Giannis is the new George Gervin, but we'll go into that a little later down the road. So here's the thing. Sports writers are bringing all the information. They were the rats. They were the people that go around gossiping and spreading lies and rumors and all these different things. So they go up to Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson and say, hey, this is what's going on. Don't you think, what do you think about Michael Jordan? But they're too experienced. They know what's going on. George Gervin, the Iceman, he's the one who had a problem with the way the media, him and Magic, didn't like the way the media was giving all the attention, and everything else about the All-Star game was about Michael Jordan. That ticked Magic off. Magic is used to being the talk of everything. It's Magic. You know, and Doc's here and this and that. And here comes Michael Jordan, who played a half a year, and you basically, the whole NBA All-Star game is about him. Magic didn't like that, and damn sure George Gervin didn't like it. He didn't like it. The Western Conference didn't like it. Mark Aguirre didn't like it. A lot of those players over there didn't like it. Now, they made a pact that Michael Jordan is not going to get a highlight on me. Okay? He spun around and dunked on Magic, and George Gervin was like, I'll be damned if he dunk on me. If I'm checking Michael Jordan, he ain't dunking on me. So what happened? He gets up on him. And if you go watch the game, I'm quite sure YouTube have it somewhere. Watch what happens when George Gervin guards Michael Jordan. He fouls him and was like, you go to the free throw line. Now, they went out to hurt him. They went out to freeze him out. He was not going to have those highlights. We're not going to give you any of these superstar highlights where the media are going to go crazy. You now finna celebrate on us. Nah, sorry. You're going to have to earn it. So, they went to stop Jordan. Not let him get off. Jordan didn't care. Jordan's just trying to, do his thing. He's fitting in. But Gervin, he had those plans. So there was no freeze out, but there was some disdain on that part, on the way the media handled it. And the media created all of this. So to let everybody know, there was no Isaiah Magic, Michael beef, none of it. They were creating it for story. Back then, there was no internet. You were at the mercy of the press. So the press could crucify you if they felt like it. Now, the internet, you don't even have to be a journalist. You don't even have to go to college and get a license. You could basically say, I saw her screwing that alien on that spaceship. You know aliens are here, and you're going to have 5 to 10 to probably 15,000 idiots say, man, I knew they was aliens here, man. I told y'all, man. They ain't through with that alien, that Area 51. They just lying to y'all. Still aliens out there. And now these celebrities out there going out there screwing these aliens, man. It's this Illuminati thing, man. I believe it. So you're going to have this happening. For the other people to be like, that's insanity. Everybody else is going to say, that is 100% correct. That's just the way it is. Now, I hope this clarifies everything for people. And my phone's going to blow off now. And my alerts are going on, higher than usual today. So, anyway, I just wanted to put that out there to you so you guys can enjoy yourself. Hopefully, you guys get the notification. I'm still fighting, trying to get all that cleared up for you guys so we can have everything clean slate, swooped up, and everything. And don't forget, Patreon's going to be real special today. Very special. You're going to laugh. And then you're going to get some education, too. So, I got something that's going to make you laugh and probably hold your head. And the rest of it is going to be educational. So, thank you. That should do it. Oh yeah, my Cash App is Carcino. You guys all know that. And God bless you. Stay safe.